Hello guys, Delta Bro Production, and welcome to a how-to video on how a rotary switch works. So a lot of people been asking me, emailing me, sending me messages on how do you connect this to your project and how does it work. So this is what the video is going to be about. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so this is a rotary switch. This specific one is called a 3P4T, and what does that stand for is 3 pole 4 toggles. So if you look in the back here, there's 3 poles in the middle, and there's 4 toggles. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we do 3 times 4, that equals 12. And if we look on the outside here, there's 12 pins. So one pin here is connected to 4 of those. One pin here is connected to 4 of those, and one pin here is connected to 4 of those. And they're all completely separate. So what does that mean for you? It means that you could connect this pin and those 4 connectors here, or pins, to a switch, and then you could connect this pin and those 4 connectors to a LED. So when you turn the switch to position number 1, it turns up a LED that's, I don't know, red. And if you turn it to position number 3, it will turn blue, and so on and so forth. Now the question is, how do you hook this up to your project? And which pin is which? It's quite simple. It looks really complicated, but it's really not. So let's zoom in a little. Now I'll show you the easiest way of doing it using a multimeter. So if we touch the 2 leads, multimeter is going to go to 0. If we don't touch them, it's going to go to 1. So simple, you put it position number 1. You take 1 lead in the middle, and then you start touching around, see what lead it leads up to. Of course, don't start going on this side. If you're doing this one, it's going to be closest to the connector. So we start touching. Oh, we found it. So we know that this one is connected to this one in position 1. Now, how do you remember? I use a little marker. I like to mark it. Mark it whatever color you want. I mark it. It starts here. Now you go in position number 2 and repeat the same thing. And technically it should be the one above or underneath. It's the one above, so you know that's position number 2. So I'll continue the blue marker on here. And then you do the same thing, position number 3. You know, it's right here. Continue the blue marker. And then last position. It's right here. Continue the blue marker. So you know that this one is connected to those 4 pins. Now you continue the test if you want to. For the other pins, use different colors, and that way you'll know your layout. So what I usually do is I usually connect this to ground, and then I always leave the first one not connected, so it's like an off position. And then connect this to another switch, and then this to another switch, and this to another switch. And what you could do with that is a simple. If you connect it to a switch, when you rotate it, it's always going to be on that switch, right? So let's say the switch is number 12. So it's always going to be on number 12. If you go to 3rd position, let's say it's number 13, it's always going to be a number 13. 4th position, 14. And it's a toggle, right? So it's always going to be there. Why do you want to do that? Is let's say you have other keys. Let's say you have 4 other keys, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what you want to do is when you press 1, it sends out an output. But then if you rotate it to position 1, it will send out 12 plus 1. So that's another output. If you do it to position 3, still key number 1, it's going to send 13 plus 1, and so on and so forth. Not every game supports that though. Not every game supports you being able to press double keys to assign something. You'll have to check the game that you want to play with. But I would say a good 80% of them works. So guys, that's how this works. It's not that complicated. Stay tuned for another video. I'll show you guys how to hook everything up. It's quite simple. And yeah, stay tuned. If you guys want to have more information, head over to www.deltabravoproduction.com. Until then, take care.